So here's a look at the mower after power washing. You can see it's nice and clean. Got black paint on the engine, so that barely does it any justice. If you have an aluminum color or metal, you know, like the paint's chipped off here, if this thing's aluminum, it'll really shine up from a power washing. So that's a nice way to really make the mowers look good again. I got a little bit of cleaning detergent on there. I got to scrub off, so that'll probably come off with like a hand cleaning there with a rag. So now we're ready to attach our carburetor. Alright guys, this is your main jet or your bowl nut that comes off your carburetor. So there's a little bit of a washer on there. You don't want to lose your washer or your carburetor is going to leak. And if we take a look at this, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but the thing is all gummed up. Alright, so there's actually a hole in the end that fuel needs to go through, and there's also a hole right on this edge here that you can't even see. So I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit. First step, I'm just going to spray it with some carb cleaner. So alright, good amount of carb cleaner, and we'll let it set. So the carb cleaner did a pretty nice job. It got a lot of the crud off. However, the hole is still clogged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire from a wire tag card, and I'm just going to carefully locate the hole, and I'm going to push the wire right through there. Okay, you got to be careful when you do this. You don't want to widen the hole, but you just want to get some of that dirt out of there, and it actually helps a little bit if the wire's twisted. So that'll clean out that hole, and then there's a center hole that goes right down the middle. You want to run a small wire right through there as well. And this mower would not run probably at all, probably just stall if I would have left this main jet the way it is or was. So we're cleaning out the debris. I'm going to spray it again with carb cleaner, and then I'm going to blow it out with compressed air. And if you hold it up to the light, you should be able to see through there, and I can't quite see through there, so I'm going to keep cleaning it. So I've now cleaned it up, and you can see right through that hole. And if you also look down the center, you should be able to see light, although I don't know if you can actually see that on camera here. But everything's cleaned well. I'm going to put the gasket on it again, and that's ready to go. Alrighty guys, I got all my parts out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Now I'm just going to take a little carb cleaner and blow out all the passages in the carburetor body. You want to make sure you're in a ventilated area and you have safety glasses on for this. So I'm just putting some carb cleaner through. I forgot there's a gasket on here. I'm going to pull that off carefully, just so it doesn't get damaged by that carb cleaner. That's the nice thing about the ultrasonic cleaner, you can leave your gaskets on. So you just want to try and hit all your little ports and openings. There we go. And I don't really like using compressed air, but I do sometimes. But you got to make sure that you turn the pressure down to about 25 or 30, maybe even less. And I usually hold my nozzle back a little bit, but it works pretty good just for drying off the carb cleaner and cleaning any dust and debris off your carburetor. So I'll finish cleaning this out best I can here. Alright, now that everything's hand cleaned and blown off with compressed air, I'm going to begin reassembling the carburetor. So first thing I need to do is put in my needle, and that's going to attach to the float. And I'm just going to drop that right over top of the carb body like that, and we're going to put through our lever right there, our fulcrum for the float. So it should just slide in here. If you've never cleaned a carburetor, there's really not that much to it. They're all fairly simple. This is what you call a float style carburetor. The next thing I'm going to do is put on our gasket that I just pulled off. If I had a new carb kit, I would use a new gasket here, but I don't happen to have this Briggs & Stratton Walbro carb kit. There's our bowl. You want to make sure that seat's nice. And then we're going to put on our main jet with the gasket. And when you tighten this up, you just want to snug it up. You don't want it too tight. I've already broke a carburetor years ago by tightening up this bolt here too tight. I broke part of the casting, and this usually requires a 1/2-inch wrench. And we're just going to snug it up, and that should be good. The last thing that I removed from the carburetor was this set screw, and that's going to go right in this hole. We're going to set it all the way in. Don't over tighten it, just go till it stops, and then we're going to back it out 1.5 turns for this carb. So I've now lightly seated this set screw, and we're going to go out 1/2 turn, 1 turn, 1.5, and it was a little bit more than 1.5. So just like that is about how it was. Alright, so before you put on any mounting hardware, the first thing you want to do is put on your linkages. So I know it's hard to show on camera, but there's a linkage right here in the back that goes on there, and I'm hoping you guys can see that. And there's also on this carburetor, there was a little spring that actually tied in right to this plastic, like so. So we've got everything hooked up, and now I'm just going to try and get our mounting screw bolts in the mounting holes down here, just to hold those linkages in place. So if you have a mower that's not running right, or you stored one away and it won't start because you hadn't been using it in a while, a carburetor cleaning is basically what it's going to take to get your mower running. It's really not that hard to do. There's only a couple parts that you need to take apart, and if you're careful and you keep track of what you're doing, you should be able to get the job done on your own. So I put in the mounting bolts here, so now I'm just going to tighten them up with the ratchet. Alright, now that those mounting bolts are on there, we're going to take our fuel hose and get that connected. And this looked a hair long. I put on a new fuel hose, so I'm actually just going to cut a little bit off of this and then connect the clamp. Here's the second try. I'm going to back it up onto the carburetor like so, nice tight fit. And then we're going to take our pliers and we're going to slide the clamp down and lock that on the fuel line. Alright, I've now connected the backing plate to the air filter, and the two bolts that are the same side went on the left and right, and the smaller bolt went in the upper right. There's a gasket behind this. I left the gasket because I did not have a replacement gasket, and it looked like it was in pretty good shape. So the last thing we need to do is install our air filter and our air filter cover. Alright, so our air filter is going to go on like this, and we're going to take our 5/16 wrench And we're going to lock this in place. Oop. I got a piece of metal here that's bent, so I'm going to have to bend this to get this filter on there right. There we go. Sorry about that. So now that'll go right on there. And I'm just going to straighten out this tab the way it's supposed to be. Alright, we're going to fuel this thing up and give it a cold start. So I put some gas in it. There's no primer on this thing, so we'll choke it. And this is a cold start, never been started. This is the brake. Looks like that's working. And we'll see what happens. Man. Still on choke, I'm going to back it off. Seems to be running pretty good. A little bit of smoke came out. That's pretty normal for an engine that hasn't run for like 21 years. And the blade brake works. A little bit of water steaming off there from the pressure washer. So I'm double wide 6. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a little bit. This is pretty much the basics for working on a mower that won't start, that really has nothing wrong with it. What happens is the fuel gets kind of dried up and varnished in there, and it causes problems because it closes off the passages on the carburetor. So just appreciate you guys watching this. If you have any comments, I'll be happy to answer, and I have a bunch of other small engine videos if you're interested in this type of video. So please comment and have a great day. See ya.